If you can relate to this picture, you might be ready to hire your first real estate assistant. But is your business ready as well? In this video, I'm going to break down the 3 critical steps you must take before you hire your first real estate assistant. Yes, I know I'm giving you homework, but if you follow these 3 steps, I promise you, you will be prepared for your new hire and they will thank you for it. Let's dig in. Hi, I'm Vanessa Rosenblum. I'm the president of REA Staffing, where we are passionate about fostering careers in real estate and growing real estate teams. For help landing your dream job in real estate or growing your real estate team, make sure to hit subscribe and ring the bell so that you're notified every time we post a new video. Okay, let's get into it. Before you make your first hire, there are 3 critical things you must do to be prepared for your hire. The first is you need to get organized. The second, you need to work out the logistics. And third, you have to have a plan. So let's dig into those in more detail. All right, when it comes to getting organized, it doesn't have to be perfect, but there are some basic things that you should have prepared for your new hire. The first is your contacts. If you don't currently use a CRM, a customer relationship management system, you need to at least get all of your contacts into one place. They can't be in your head or stuck only in your phone or in a notebook. And yes, I've seen a $1 million producer carry around a notebook filled with names and phone numbers and different highlights, and that was it. That was her whole literal book of business. And she couldn't work with an assistant because that assistant didn't have access to her contacts. And she couldn't slow down enough to hand it off. So get your contacts in one place that your assistant can access. The second thing is to get your listing process and your contract to close process down on paper. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect, but it's a lot easier to explain to your assistant what they need to do for you if it's already on paper. So the next time you take a listing, if you don't already have a checklist, write it all down. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect, just can't be in your head. The third thing is marketing. If you have a marketing program or a newsletter you send out every month, you need to have a checklist or a calendar that lists all of the marketing that you do and when it's due, so that your assistant, again, knows what's expected. I can remember years ago getting a call from a frantic assistant who had missed the deadline to submit ads to the local caravan newsletter. And you know, the agent was upset with them because they didn't know when the deadlines were. But the assistant had come from a different city that used a different newsletter, and nobody had told her when the deadlines were. So, you know, we can avoid those problems if you can just get everything out of your head and into a system. The next step is to sort out your logistics. And the biggest piece of this is figuring out, where is your assistant going to work? This is really important because it impacts who is going to be attracted to your job. If your desk space for your assistant is basically a closet in the basement of your office, and they're not going to see anybody else or have interaction with anybody else all day long, just you and the phone and a computer, a social person is going to hate their life. And vice versa, if you have someone who is very, very systematic and detailed and they just want to, you know, focus on getting the tasks done, and you stick them in the middle of the bullpen in the center of your office where there's a lot of noise and a lot of interruptions, they're not going to succeed in the role. And also, the quality of the space matters. We have assistants decline jobs because they didn't like the feeling of the office. It didn't feel good to them. Their office was like a child-sized desk squeezed into a corner next to their boss, and you know, they have about this much workspace, and it didn't feel good. And we had to consult with that client to find a whole new work environment because nobody wanted that job. So before you get into the interview process and you lose quality candidates, have a good plan for your assistant's workspace. The next step is getting prepared to have an employee. So you need to apply for an EIN number, an employee identification number. You'll need to look into workers' compensation and a payroll service. I strongly recommend sticking with one of the bigger services like Paychex, ADP, or QuickBooks full service payroll if you're already using QuickBooks. Those are all great services and they handle everything for you. They make it really easy. Don't try to do it on your own. And finally, you need to connect with either an employment attorney or an HR service, because someone with professional expertise needs to prepare your offer letter, and you need to have a go-to person just in case you have any questions or concerns. And then finally, when it comes to logistics, is you need to put aside 3 to 6 months worth of salary for your assistant. And this is really critical. Those first few months, you're not going to get leverage right away. It's going to take a little bit of time, and you don't want to feel the pinch of having to pay your assistant and not pay yourself. So put aside 3 to 6 months of their salary, and it will be much easier for you to handle the ramp up period. If you're not sure what to pay your assistant, make sure to download our free report. The link is in the description below. This is our salary survey. We've documented every placement we've done for the last year and a half, and you can see the location, the base salary, and the bonus structure. So check that out. Now, finally, the most important piece of all of this is to have a plan. Your job description is going to change. Your role within your company is going to change when you hire this assistant. And if you don't have a good plan for what you're going to do differently, then you're not going to get the best leverage out of your assistant. So there are 2 parts to this. Obviously, the first part of having a plan is knowing what your assistant's job description is. What are you going to take off of your plate and put on theirs? The second piece is, what is your job description? How are you going to generate more business, spend more time, quality time connecting with your clients, and closing more deals? So if you work with a business coach, this is definitely the time to break down the numbers and have a clear plan of action for how many calls or contacts you need to make, how many listings or buyers you're going to work with monthly, and what kind of revenue goals you're working to achieve at the end of the year. Your assistant wants to support you in this, and they need to know what your plan is. So you need to be able to show them on paper, these are the goals that we've set for the team. These are the steps that we're going to take to achieve them. This is what I'm going to do, and this is what you're going to do to support me. That will help you and your assistant hit the ground running and set the stage for amazing growth. If you'd like even more help learning how to hire your first world-class assistant, we've created a free report called How to Hire a World-Class Assistant. And it basically goes through all of the steps we take as recruiters to find great hires. And we're giving it to you for free. So click on the link in the description below and get our 10 steps to hiring a world-class assistant. Okay, are you prepared and ready for your first hire? If not, leave a comment below and let me know which steps you still need to accomplish before you're ready to start looking for your next hire. And if you like this video, please give us a like and consider subscribing. We post new content weekly, all dedicated to fostering careers in real estate and growing real estate teams. I'll see you on the next one.